No time for silly intros. We've missed enough already. Yo, what's up? I'm Pete Last Guy, and this is Raw Emotion, where I take a look at this week's Monday Night Raw, and I tell you a little bit about what I think and a lot about how I feel, and I know we've been away for a while. We've missed some things. We've missed WrestleMania. I get it, but we're gonna just push all that aside, and we're just gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna pick up right in the aftermath of WrestleMania in the next big thing to happen, the Superstar Shakeup. Alright, I'm kind of surprised this wasn't hyped a little bit more, because back when they did the draft, that was just like months out. They were like, draft, delete, we'll get to that. And for this one, it was just like a week or two of like, hey, by the way, a Superstar Shakeup. What's that? I don't know. Find out next week. And you know what? I dig it, because the first thing we heard rather, I'm not gonna sing the whole intro, but it's John Cena's music. And then The Miz came out. That's right, The Miz! Now we got The Miz over here, along with Maurice. Of course, they came out dressed like John Cena and Nikki Bella, which is the thing they've been doing over on SmackDown. If you've been watching that, if you haven't, you're not gonna really know what's going on. But Miz and Maurice came out all dressed up like John and Nikki and did that thing where they mock John and Nikki, acting all robotic and yada yada yada. It's almost getting tired. It's not, though, because it's The Miz and it's fantastic. And it was interrupted by Dean Ambrose. Yeah, Raw now has the Intercontinental Champion, who showed up and started, rolling with the bit, acting like it was actually John Cena and, roasting Miz. You know how to, oh, yeah, good thing you beat The Miz, And they go back and forth like that, and The Miz is like, no, I'm The Miz. Oh, okay, dirty deeds. You get it. So there's your first two shaken up superstars. Let's see where the rest of this goes. Now the New Day shows up in the ring, and it's actually just Big E and Xavier Woods, accompanied by an inflatable Kofi, which had me worried for a second, because I don't think they really played up the fact that he was, injured. Not even injured, actually injured by the Revival last time they met. But I didn't think about that, I didn't know about that, I didn't hear about it, and so I'm just wondering, oh no, did they break up the New Day? Is Kofi on SmackDown? But he wasn't, so it's fine. But they challenged the Revival, who oblige, come out and just hurt him real bad in a match. I love that the Revival is on the main roster. I love it. They're even wearing shirts with the New Day Pops cart on it. It says, R.I.P. I'm loving this feud already. It's in its infancy already, but man, the Revival is good enough that maybe the feud with them will give me a reason to care more about the New Day, because New Day's been kind of stale recently. So maybe this breathes new life into New Day. Who's to say? Maybe it revives next thing, I'm sorry. Wait, just kidding. Before the next thing, I did want to mention two spots that I freaking loved. Revival sets up for a double clothesline, and Big E just Red Rovers through it. I loved that. And also, Woods, all the way across, from the top rope, all the way across the ring, elbow drop. Didn't quite get all of it, but it was still impressive. Looking good. Let Woods in the ring more. Come on. Next thing now, for real. Okay, what is the next thing? Kurt Hawkins was punched once by Big Show. Yay. Next thing. Let's go to Cruiserweight Corner. No shakeups happening over there, except, well, a little bit, because there was a backstage segment between TJ Perkins, Neville, and Austin Aries, where Neville and Austin Aries were kind of doing the angel and devil on the shoulder thing for TJ Perkins. Neville's trying to tell me, these people don't respect you, man. I can't do that. Why can't I do it? This is Jordy? I can't do it. They're saying, people don't respect you. Oh, you gotta step it up. You gotta find your dark side, whatever. And Austin Aries comes up, you're really gonna listen to this guy? You know how it goes. And so eventually, later on in the evening, there's a match. TJ Perkins takes on Austin Aries in the ring. Neville is on commentary, and of course at some point comes out onto the ramp, distracts Austin. TJ rolls him up for the 3 count, is victorious, and turns heel, beating up Austin Aries. So now I kind of hope they start calling him the Prince of the Cruiserweights, because he's kind of aligned himself with Neville now, and I would love that. I think that's a good thing to do with TJ Perkins. See, I can be positive about TJ Perkins. I think he'll be great as a heel. He'll be like a high school bully. It'll be fun. Let's do it. All right. Next thing, Seth Rollins, that is, comes on out into the ring to give a big old face promo talking about we did it, talking about I love you, the fans, for supporting me, etc., etc. And, maybe since Steph is eventually going to come back, she's not going to be very happy for me for WrestleMania. Maybe I should go to SmackDown. No, that's the easy way out. I'm not doing it. I want to stay right here, man. And our new general manager, Kurt Angle. By the way, new general manager, Kurt Angle. Hey. But he comes out and basically tells Seth, all right, you want to stay here? Cool. No sweat. Which, he didn't actually say no sweat, but it would have been ironic if he did. Because he'd just walk into the ring. He's shining. He's very sweaty. Sweaty guy. And Joe shows up to start attacking Seth Rollins, which of course, it's just what he does now, but Seth comes out of that little brawl on top, and then that segment's over, so, cool. Okay. Charlotte continues the cold streak of sorts that she's been on by losing to Nia Jax. Good match. I love these two. I love seeing them both work, but Charlotte lost again, and she's been losing a lot. She looks a lot weaker than she did when she was up there on top feuding with Sasha back and forth for the belt, and just the whole queen gimmick it's a little hard to take seriously now because she's losing so much. So I don't know, maybe she ends up on SmackDown. Maybe that's what they're kind of driving at. I don't know. Either way, Nia came out on top looking like a monster, and that's fine with me. We'll see where it goes. A lot of this is up in the air right now in the middle of this superstar shake-up, shakedown, superstar milkshake. So I guess we'll see where it goes. But let's move on to Finn Balor, who is back from injury. Mercifully, thank you for coming back, Finn. We get a nice little video package to remind us, hey, remember how excited you were about this guy? Remember how he was the first Universal Champion? Remember? And then once that video package is done rolling, he takes on Jinder Mahal and, of course, beats him because... come on. What did you think was going to happen? But I can say that it was less of a squash than I expected it to be. Honestly, Jinder looked kind of strong. Not just physically strong. Obviously, he looks physically strong. He is literally just muscle and vein now. There's nothing else. All his bones have turned to muscle, and his everything else has turned into veins. He has so many veins. But Finn seals his victory and is then confronted on the Titantron by Bray Wyatt, of all people, and it's not clear if Bray is coming over to Raw or not, because he's still feuding with Randy Orton and he's still got this House of Horrors match to do over on SmackDown. So I don't know exactly what the situation is there, but I would love a spooky spook-off between these two spooky guys. I think it'll be good. I don't know. Bring Bray over to Raw is what I'm saying. Please bring Bray to Raw. Maybe. I don't know. You're already bringing over Apollo Crews, Kalisto, and Slater and Rhino, as they announced at one point during the show. Didn't actually show any of those guys, except for in still images and hype package, but we're getting them, so... cool. I'm at least, sort of excited about Slater and Rhino. The other two, it's, fill out the roster a little, I guess. Maybe they get better opportunities here than they did on SmackDown. Who knows? We'll see. Sami Zayn had a match against The Miz that was set up earlier in a backstage segment between the two of them and Kurt Angle. Not much to say about that match. Great to see those two go at it. It's about what you'd expect. All the spots you're hoping for. You got Miz ripping off Daniel Bryan. You've got Sami with all of his classic spots. And he wins. Despite Maurice's attempted interference, Sami Zayn still beats The Miz. So, fun match. It's mostly inconsequential. Nice to watch, though. Okay, we're not going to go completely in chronological order because I usually talk about the main event last. But the next thing that happened chronologically is what I want to talk about last. So we're just going to move it right down to the bottom there. We're going to skip over to talk about the tag team division. Gallows and Anderson teamed with the Shining Stars in a 8-man tag team match against Cesaro and Sheamus, teaming with the Hardys, who of course won. The Faces won, but great to see. I hope they let the Hardys start talking a little bit more and not just on, Raw Talk or whatever they're calling their talking smack ripoff show. But I'd like to see what they're doing with their characters right now. Obviously, they're not broken. That would confuse a lot of people. It's fine. Much has been said about why they don't necessarily need to be broken in WWE right away, and I agree with most of it. It's fine. I love the broken gimmick, and maybe they'll get a chance to bring it back once the whole legal thing settles out. But for now, the Hardys are back. Come on, and they're just as good as ever. Look at the... Watch the matches. It's so good. At one point during that match, the Drifter, I think is Elias Sampson, I think is what they call him, from NXT, was just there, just walking around, just drifting. Got his guitar, just drifting. Cool. And we got a backstage segment between Dana Brooke and Emma. Not much to say about it. Emma's back and appears to be in full effect, so I'm okay with that. Add some depth to the women's roster. Add some variety to it. Cool. Dana Brooke is back there reading from a incredibly on-the-nose titled book, How to Be Your Own Mentor. Do you get it? Do you need to... plot. Stories. And of course Emma comes by and is like, well, I used to be your mentor before Charlotte was, and now I need to stop doing accents. Yep. But she's like, you should come back and you know, I mentored you before, so come back and be my protege again. And Dana's like, no. And that's the segment. Bye. But then we got some more women's promo type stuff where Sasha comes out in the ring and is, you know, giving a little promo. She announces Bayley, and it really seems like they're teasing that heel turn that everyone thinks is coming, that I think I'm one of them. I think it's coming, and I thought it was gonna happen. I'm such a mark. I'm such a mark. Just looking at her face and just like her, you know, it's like so smug, and the way she was talking and the way she was saying the words she was saying really felt like she was about to turn heel, and you know, she's about to challenge Bayley for the title, not in a heel way necessarily, but in like a, hey, I want to challenge you. But suddenly, Alexa Bliss, followed a little later by Mickie James. We got those two on Raw. That's exciting. I want to see how Alexa Bliss and Mickie James interact with the rest of the Raw women's roster. That's going to add some real good flavor and some real possibilities. I'm excited for that. It's going to be good. But they shout at each other for a while until Nia Jax shows up and ambushes somebody, and now everyone's fighting, and it's a brawl, and it's just like, hey, look, now this is who we have. It's good. It's good. It's good. And your main event, KO, the United States Champion, versus Dean Ambrose, the Intercontinental Champion, freshly migrated from SmackDown. Champion versus champion match, not a belt versus belt, you know, belt for belt kind of thing. Just two champions in a match against each other, and it's great. These two, gosh, they have such complementary styles. Not similar necessarily, and not even the same, but just very complementary styles. The way Dean wrestles and the way Kevin wrestles, it fits, it locks in, and it fills in they fill in the gaps for each other. I thought it was a great match to watch, and I'm a little sad that the rumor has it KO might be heading over to SmackDown, so that means we don't get to watch those two really wrestle much more against, you know, disappointing on that level, but a great match to get to watch. Loved it a lot. Good main event. And after the end, after Dean wins, Y2J shows up, gives a code breaker to Kevin Owens. Everyone's happy, everyone smiles, and main event's over. Okay, now let's rewind and talk about what you really want to hear about. Oh my god. Yes! Yeah! This is the best part. So earlier in the evening, Michael Cole had a backstage interview. He'd been hyping it through the episode. We're gonna have a backstage interview with Roman Reigns. How was that gonna go? Last time we saw him, he got booed out of the building last week in the aftermath of having retired The Undertaker, and so he's gonna interview Roman about how he feels about that. The interview starts, and Roman is he's holding on to that babyface persona. He really is. Talk about how it was such a bittersweet thing to retire him, and how, you know, I just did what I had to do because I'm the big dog and this is my yard now. Woof. 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 And in the middle of him talking and explaining, he says, this is my yard now, and in the middle of Michael Cole saying back to him, well, that's an interesting slogan, you see him go, what? Rip off his mic, and sudden brawn. And what ensued was, it was magical. It was just magical. Because he kicks Roman's bum all around the backstage area, throwing him into stuff, throwing him onto stuff, throwing him under stuff, throwing him into a wall, and rolling a big container thing on wheels at him. I don't know, it looked like it was made of metal, so it looked like it hurt. And just BAM! Into his face. And he walks away like, okay. Ooh, backstage beatdown. Gosh, they really are... Okay, that was nuts, but okay, they're getting the little EMT dudes in here, they got him up on the stretcher, and they're gonna carry him away. Wow, they have been holding on this shot for uncomfortably long. Braun is back! Runs over and grabs the stretcher, runs with it to the loading dock, and shoves it off the loading dock. Roman Reigns strapped to it. Just... wow! And then we still don't cut away, and there's still no commentary. This has just been the sounds of of men hurting each other and people around yelling for various emergency personnel. That's all the sounds we're getting, and some background crowd noise, and some chants at which, at one point, I'm sure I heard them chanting at Roman, "You deserve it," as he was getting, thrashed. It's great. It's just great. And it gets better because they finally get him, get down to where he fell, and they stretch him back up, they get him into the ambulance, and they finally get all the way in, and you hear from off screen, "I'm not done with you!" And Braun, again, returns, jumps in the back of the ambulance, punches Roman maybe 3 times, slams the ambulance door, hauls the driver out, and then flips it over. Just over somewhat of a long period of time, flips the entire full-size ambulance on its side. Woo! Now I'm sure there was some sort of mechanism in place or some sort of tomfoolery so that it wasn't actually that he had to, tip an entire ambulance over. I'm sure something was assisting him in that. But that's inside baseball. That's behind the scenes. We're watching a TV show here. We're watching a product, and man, that was a good moment in this episode. A good, very long, somewhat uncomfortable at times moment. And man, is WWE is this how they hope to keep Roman face? Are they trying to build up sympathy for him because that's not working? Not at all. Or B, are they just saying, look, we're going to keep Roman a face, right? But as penance to you, the fans, we'll, on the Raw after WrestleMania, just let you boo him for a solid 15 minutes and chant obscene things at him. And then the next week, we'll have our biggest, burliest, nastiest dude just tear him apart in the most comically intense way possible. And you get to just watch it and take it all in. But we're going to keep him as a babyface. I feel like that's what they might be doing, but all of that aside, gosh, what a moment. What a good moment. And that, plus the Superstar Shakeup, plus the various other small good things, I think this makes this one of my favorite episodes of Raw in quite some time. So, that's what I thought of this week's episode. Hey, let me know what you thought. We got a comment section right down there just for things like that. Tell me what you thought of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Tell me what you think of the Superstar Shakeup. Who else do you think is going to be trading sides from Raw to SmackDown? And who else do you think maybe they might bring up from NXT that we haven't seen yet? Share that in the comments. Let me know. And go ahead and click that like button as well. And subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on all of our weekly wrestling content. That's right. We do this weekly, except for when we don't. But you can catch the previous episode, I don't know, let's say over here. And you can catch the previous episode of Smacktivism where Wes breaks down every week's SmackDown Live. You're right over here in a second. Anyway, I've been Pete Last Guy. You've been a delight. Let's see where this all goes. But this match is over in 1, 2, 3. I mean, amongst the other... nope. Gallows and Anderson teamed with the Shining Stars to... nope. I want to see how Alexa Bliss... excuse me.